Good evening all. Namo Buddhaya. Teruvan Saranai Sielu Denatama. Very warm welcome to our regular Dhamma Dana blessing program hosted by Lecture Dhammanikethanaya Buddhist Center regularly on every Saturday evening to share the teachings of the Buddha and also the blessings to everyone. Among those forms of giving, among those forms of sharing the teachings of the Buddha is the highest. Therefore, we can sponsor similar program like this, Dhamma Dana programs, sharing of Dhamma teachings in special occasions of our lives. If you would like to sponsor any of these programs, we can arrange it. We are from tomorrow onwards heading into a very special month called Buddha month, that we celebrate the thrice blessed Vesak full moon day, the Buddha day, that commemorates the birth, enlightenment, and also the passing away of the Blessed One, the fully enlightened Lord Buddha. We have a special ceremony on Saturday the 14th. Throughout the day, people can attend to meditations and Dhamma discussions, Dhamma talks, and observing precepts, offering dana, and also a special puja in the evening to share our gratitude to the Lord Buddha and also engage ourselves on this blessed day through the practice. We encourage everyone to line up in this special occasion to celebrate that special day. We encourage everyone to prepare their household shrines with special arrangements, maybe making a Vesak lantern, put in some flags, put in some star lights to bring that grace of blessings of the Buddha during this month of May, the Vesak month. Today, our program is being sponsored by Mrs. Anne Schilizzi and family. They would like to dedicate these special blessings, merits to beloved husband, Mr. Peter, to mark the 5th anniversary of merit transfer, to transfer the merits into his good name. In loving memory of Pete, Mrs. Anne and family sponsoring this program to transfer the merits. Also to transfer the merits to beloved parents, Mr. Lawrence and Mrs. Rosemary Gorham. May the loving parents share these noble merits and rejoice in their journey to happiness and peace. Also, Mrs. Anne would like to dedicate this blessing and merits to her good friend, Dhamma teacher, Mr. Paul Burton, who passed away last Sunday. May Mr. Paul Burton share our noble merits, and gain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Also, this merits is being, this chanting of protection blessings being dedicated further to her blessed first grandson, who was born 13th of April, Zachary Peter Schilizzi. May the beloved grandson have the blessings of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha and enjoy many happy occasions with the blessings of the Noble Triple Gem. Also, this chanting and blessing being dedicated to friend Frances and also stepfather Ted and all in the family. May all be well, happy and peaceful. Mrs. Anne Schilizzi would like to dedicate these merits to Venerable Akurala Samitha's father, my father and my parents, and also to dedicate these blessings for my special birthday. May the blessings be fulfilled, all the aspirations. May those be a great meritorious deed for the happiness and fulfillment of the noble endeavors in the path of happiness and peace. Dhamma dana is the highest form of dana. May this noble blessing be a great meritorious activity, particularly at the 5th year remembrance of Pete, who passed away 5 years ago, 28th of April. And also beloved parents, Mr. Lawrence and Mrs. Rose Mary Gorham, Mr. Paul Burton, and all the departed relatives and friends. May the blessings be with beloved grandson, Zachary Peter Schilizzi, also Frances and Ted, and all in the community, those who are participating into these blessings. Bearing that, we are going to proceed with our today's program, observing the 5 precepts, paying our homage to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, listening to a Dhamma sermon in Sinhala, doing few minutes of chanting protection blessings, Dhamma sermon in English, Dhamma sharing by the children, and few minutes of meditation to finish our program for the day. Teruwan saranai sielu denatama සුපුරුදු පරිදි අද දිනේට නියමිත සදහම් වැඩසටහන ධර්ම දාන පින්කමටයි ඔබ සෑම දෙනාම සම්බන්ධ වෙන්නේ. ලෙක්චර් ධම්මනිකේතන බෞද්ධ මධ්‍යස්ථානයේ මගින් සෑම සෙනසුරාදා දිනකම පවත්වන මේ උතුම් ධර්ම දානමය පින ඔබ හැම දිනාටමත් ඔබගේ ජීවිතයේ වැදගත් අවස්ථාවක් සිහිපත් කරමින් දායකත්වය ලබාගෙන ධර්ම දානමය පින රැස් කර ගැනීමට සුවිශේෂ අවස්ථාවක්. අද දවසේ මේ ධර්ම දානමය පින සිදු කරනු ලබන්නේ ඇන් ශිලිස්සි මහත්මිය පවුලේ සියලු දෙනා විසින් දයාබර ස්වාමි පුරුෂයාණන් දෙමව්පියන් ඥාති හිතවතුන් හැම දිනාටම පින් දීමටත් සියලු දරුමුණුබුරන් ඇතුළු පවුලේ සෑම දිනාටම ආශිර්වාද කිරීමටත් මේ උතුම් ධර්ම දානමය ආශිර්වාදය ඔබ හැම දිනාගේම ජීවිතාලෝකමත් කරන්නට වාසනාවන්ත කරන්නට නිදුක් නිරෝගී භාවයේ පිණිසම වේවා කියන ප්‍රාර්ථනාවන් ඇති කරගෙන අපි අද දිනේට නියමිත සදහම් වැඩසටහන ආරම්භ කරමු. To start our program, please be prepared for observing the 5 precepts. By saying 3 times sadhu, please say 3 times namo tassa to observe the 5 precepts.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Anati pata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinnādhāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinnādāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kāmesu miccāchārā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kāmesu miccāchārā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Suramēraya majjapamādattāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Surameraya majjapamādattāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu.
We pay our homage to the Blessed One, supremely enlightened Lord Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. May these merits and blessings be with you all for the good health, protection, progress, well-being, and also overcoming all the difficulties and suffering, gaining the supreme bliss of Nibbana. හැම දෙනා එක්කම අපි තෙරුවන් වන්දනා කරමු. සෑම දිනාටම සෙතක්, ශාන්තියක්, සැනසෙල්ලක්, යහපතක්, දියුණුවක්ම සැලසේවා කියන ප්‍රාර්ථනාවෙන් let us pay our homage together. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස
නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස
ඉත්තිපිසෝ
භගවා අරහං සම්මා සම්බුද්ධෝ විද්‍යාචරණ සම්පන්නෝ
සුගතෝ ලෝකවිදු
අනුත්තරෝ පුරිස ධම්මසාරති සත්තා දේව මනුස්සානම් බුද්ධෝ
භගවාති
බුද්ධං ජීවිතං යාව නිබ්බානං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි
ස්වාක්ඛාතෝ
භගවතා ධම්මෝ සම්දිත්තිකෝ අකාලිකෝ ඒහි පස්සිකෝ ඕපනයිකෝ පච්චත්තං වේදිතම්බෝ විඤ්ඤෝහිති ධම්මං ජීවිතං යාව නිබ්බානං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි
සුපටිපන්නෝ
භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ උජ්ජුපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ
ඥාය පටිපන්නෝ
පන්නෝ භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ සාමීචි පටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ
ශාවක සංඝෝ
යතිදං ජත්තාරි පුරිස යුගානි අට්ඨ පුරිස පුග්ගලා ඒස භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ ආහුනේයෝ පාහුනේයෝ දක්ඛිනේයෝ අංජලි කරණීයෝ අනුත්තරං
පුඤ්ඤක් කෙත්තං
ලෝකස්සාති සංඝං ජීවිතං යාව නිබ්බානං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි
වන්දාමි
චේතියං සම්බං සම්බෙටානි සුපතිට්ඨිතං සාරීරික ධාතු මහා බෝධින් බුද්ධ රූපං සකලං සදා යස්ස මූලේ නිසින්නෝව සම්බාරි විජයං අකාපත්තෝ සම්බං
යුතං සත්තා
වන්දේ තං බෝධිපාදපං ඉමේතේ මහා බෝධි ලෝකනාතේන පූජිතා අහං පිතේ නමස්සාමි බෝධි රාජා නමන්තුතේ
කනසාරප්ප
දිත්තේන දීපේන තමදං තිනාති ලෝක දීපං සම්බුද්ධං පූජයාමි තමෝනුදං
ගන්ධ සම්භාර
යුත්තේන රූපේනහං සුගන්ධිනා පූජයේ පූජනීයන්තං
පූජා වාජන
මුත්තමං වන්න ගන්ධ ගුණෝපේතං ඒතං කුසුම සන්තතින් පූජයාමි මුනිං දස්ස සිරිපාද සරෝරුහේ පූජේමි බුද්ධං කුසුමේන නේන පුඤ්ඤේන මේතේ
මිලායාති යතයි ධම්මේ කායෝ තථායාති විනාශ භවං සුගන්ධං සීතලං කප්පං පසන්න මధుරං සුභං පානීය මේතං භගවා පතිගන්හාතු උත්තම අදිවාසේතුනෝ බන්තේ ගිලාන පච්චයං ඉමං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පතිගන්හාතු උත්තම අදිවාසේතුනෝ බන්තේ සබ්බං සත්තාය පූජිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පතිගන්හාතු උත්තම කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං කමමේ බන්තේ පුරි පඤ්ඤ තථාගත කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං කමමේ ධම්ම සංදිට්ඨික අකාලික කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං කමමේ සංඝ සුපටිපන්න අනුත්තර ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිබ්බාන පත්තිය ආකාසට්ටා ච බුම්මට්ටා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ලෝක සාසනං ආකාසට්ටා ච බුම්මට්ටා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු දේශනං ආකාසට්ටා ච බුම්මට්ටා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු මං පරං ඉදං මේ ඥාතිනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදං මේ ඥාතිනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදං මේ ඥාතිනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now we are moving into our Sinhala Dhamma sermon, which would take about 20 minutes. Those who are not familiar with the language, they can sit and practice few minutes of meditation in the intention that listening to the Dhamma, Dhammanussati, is a form of recollection of the Dhamma. The teachings of the Buddha is a form of or subject of meditation. After that, we will continue our program in English. Teruvan Saranai Siru Denatama, Ada Dineta Niyamita, සිංහල ධර්මානුශාසනාව ආරම්භ කරන්නටයි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ. ඒ සඳහා අපි තාම ගෞරවයෙන් ආරාධනා කර සිටිනවා. ගාල්ල බද්දේගම ශ්‍රී රතනසාර විද්‍යායතනයේ පරිවෙනාධිපති ඒ වගේම බද්දේගම දුටුගැමුණු විහාර වාසී අති ගෞරවනීය දාම්මල පියනන්ද පණ්ඩිත හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේට අද දවසට නියමිත සිංහල ධර්මානුශාසනාව පවත්වන ලෙස කවුරුත් ආරාධනා කිරීමක් වශයෙන් ධර්ම ශ්‍රවණය කරනු පිණිස සාදුකාර පවත්වමින් ධර්ම ශ්‍රවණය කරන්න.
සමන්ත චක්කවාලේසු අත්‍රා ගච්ඡන්තු දේවතා සද්දම්මං මුනි රාජස්ස සුනන්තු සග්ග මොක්ඛදං ධම්මස්සවන කාලෝ හයං පදං තා ධම්මස්සවන කාලෝ අයං පදං තා ධම්මස්සවන කාලෝ අයං පදං තාති නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු වරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස සෝයසං පරමං පත්තෝ මාතං ගෝයං සුදුල්ලභං ආගඤ්ඤුං තස්සු ප ဋ ාණං කත්තියා බ්‍රාහ්මනා බහු මුලසුනෙහි වැඩ සිටින ලෙස්ටර්ත් ධර්මනිකේතනාරාමාදීශ්වර ශාස්ත්‍රපති අතිගෞරවනීය අකුරල සමිත පඬිතු හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේගෙන් අවසරයි මේ වෙලාවේ අන්තර්ජාලය හා සම්බන්ධව ධර්ම ශ්‍රවණාබිලාසී සදහැවත් කාරුණික පින්වත්නි මෙම විහාරස්ථානයේ මගින් එවැගේම අපේ අකුරල පඬිතු හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ මගේ අධීක්ෂණය සහ කාරුණිකත්වය මත පවත්වාගෙන යනු ලබන මේ ධර්ම ප්‍රචාරක වැඩසටහනෙහි අද දිනට අදාළව මාතෘකාව වසල සූත්‍රයේහි 23 වෙනි ගාථාව මෙම ගාථාවෙහි අර්ථය මීට කලින් ගාථාවල අර්ථයට බොහෝ සෙයින් සම්බන්ධ වෙමින් පවතිනවා. මේ වෙලාවේ මේ වසල සූත්‍රයේ පිළිබඳව කරුණු රාශියක් පහුගිය වකවානුවේදී සාකච්ඡා කරනු ලැබුවා. පිරිත් පොත සංස්කරණය වන්නේ මිනිස්යාගේ ලෞකික සහ ආධ්‍යාත්මික කියන දෙපාර්ශ්වයේම දියුණුව සඳහා. මෙය මහා විහාරික භික්ෂුන් වහන්සේ විසින් සම්පාදනය කළා යයි සැලකෙන ග්‍රන්ථයක්. විශේෂයෙන් ධර්ම, අර්ථ, කාම, මෝක්ෂ කියන මේ චතුර්විධ සම්පත් ලබා ගැනීම සාමාන්‍ය මිනිසෙක් වශයෙන් කළ යුතු දෙයක් බව අපේ සංස්කෘතික පිළිගැනීම. එම කාරණා හතර ඉෂ්ට කර ගැනීමේ පරම අභිලාෂයෙනුයි ත්‍රිපිටකයේහි අඩංගු මෙම සූත්‍ර විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක් අතුරින් මෙම සූත්‍ර ප්‍රමාණය පරිවාන එහෙම නැත්නම් පිරිත් පොත හැටියට සංස්කරණය කරනු ලැබුවේ. ඉතින් මේ ධර්ම කොටස ආචාර ධර්ම කොටස ධර්ම, අර්ථ, කාම. කාම කියලා කියන්නේ ලෞකිකත්වය. මේ ලෞකිකත්වය ළඟා කරගන්න ඉවහල් වෙන ආචාර ධර්ම පද්ධතියක් තමයි මේ අග්ගික භාරද්වාජ නොහොත් වසල සූත්‍රයේහි සඳහන් වෙන්නේ. මෙහිදී මතුවෙන අර්ථයට අනුව මතුවෙන ඊටාම වැදගත් කාරණය තමයි සියලු මිනිස්යෝ එකයි එක සමානයි. මිනිසයා වෙනස් වෙන්නේ කුලමල ಜಾති ආගම් වශයෙන් නෙමෙයි. ඒ මිනිසුන්ගේ චර්යා රටාවන් මත ඒ මිනිසුන්ගේ හැසිරීම මත කියන එකයි මේ වසල සූත්‍රයේ සඳහන් වෙන්නේ. ඒ ඊටාම හොඳ මානවීය ගුණ ධර්මයක්. පුද්ගලයෙක් උත්පත්තියෙන් එහෙම නැත්නම් කරන ක්‍රියාවෙන් එහෙම නැත්නම් කරන රස්සාවෙන් ඒ වගේම ජීවත් වෙන ප්‍රදේශයෙන් ඒ වගේම කතා කරන භාෂාවෙන් ඒ වගේ වෙනත් උපකල්පන මගින් මිනිසයා බෙදා තිබුණු සමාජයක මේ ඉන්දියානු සමාජයක බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ දේශනා කරනවා කෙලින් හිටගෙන මිනිසයා දෙස මානවවාදීව බලමින් මිනිසයා උස් පහත් භාවයට හෝ වෙනත් තත්වයකට පත් වෙන්නේ උත්පත්තියෙන් හෝ අර මුලින් සඳහන් කළ ක්‍රියාවලින් නෙමෙයි ක්‍රියාවෙන් බව. ඒ අතරත් මෙම කලින් සඳහන් කරන මේ ගාථාවේ සඳහන් වෙනවා සෝපාක සහ මාතංග කියලා වචන දෙකක්. ඒ අත් වශයෙන් නම් දෙකක්. සෝපාක කියලා කියන්නේ තත්කාලීන ඒ කාලේ සමාජයේ තිබිච්ච 15යි සම්මත නමක්. ඒ වගේම මාතංග කියලා කියන්නේ තත්කාලීන සමාජයේ තිබිච්ච ඊටත් කලින් පැවතිච්ච බොහොම ප්‍රසිද්ධ නමක්. එතකොට මේ නිදර්ශනයෙන් සඳහන් කරනෝ එහෙම ප්‍රසිද්ධ සෝපාකයයි සම්මත කෙනෙකුටත් මාතංග වගේ වෙන්න පුළුවන් වුණා. ඒ නිසා ඒ අය සිව් කුලයේම දැන් මේකේ සඳහන් වෙනකොට ඒ කාලේ සමාජයේම ගෞරව ආදරයට පාත්‍ර වුණාලු. දැන් මේකේ අතිරේක කාරණාවක් මට ධර්මානුකූලව කියන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් බෝසතාණන් වහන්සේ පස්මහා බැලුම් කියන මේ අවස්ථාව කාලය, දේශය, දීපය, කුලය, මව් කියන මේ අවස්ථා පහ නිර්ණය කළා බලලා පරීක්ෂා කරලා ඉපදුනා කියලා සඳහන් වෙන්නේ. මොකද බුදුන් වහන්සේ බෝසතාණන් වහන්සේ යම්කෙසි සමාජයේ සම්මත අඩුයයි සම්මත කුලයක ඉපදිලා බුද්ධත්වයට පත් වුණා නම් බොහෝ විට ඒ උන්වහන්සේ කියන කරුණු අර මහා සමාජයේ විසින් පිළිගන්නේ නැති වෙනවා. ඒ මහා සමාජයේම ඉපදිලා මහා සමාජයේම සමාජිකයෙක් වෙලා එබඳු දෙයක් ප්‍රකාශ කරාම ඒ සමාජගත කිරීමට පහසු වෙනවා. බුදුන් වහන්සේ එසේම ඉපදිලත් යම් අවස්ථාවල දුෂ්කරතාවලට පත් වූ බව සූත්‍රානුගත සූත්‍ර වලින් පැහැදිලි වෙනවා. දැන් අද දවසේ අපිට තිබෙන ගාථාව අර්ථය සාමාන්‍ය සරල අදහස බැලුවොත් ලබා ගැනීමට දුෂ්කර වූ ආධ්‍යාත්මික උසස් ගුණාංග ලබා ගැනීමෙන් පසුව සාමාන්‍ය ලබාගත් ඒ කුසලතාවය නිසා කීර්තියට ඒ වගේම සැලකීමට පත් වෙනවයි කියන එකයි මේකේ සාමාන්‍ය අදහස. මාතංගෝ අයං මාතංගෝ සුදුල්ලබං පරමං පත්තෝ. මේකේ අදහස තමයි දුර්ලභ වූ උසස් මානුෂික අංග ආධ්‍යාත්මික අංග ලබාගත් මාතංග උපට්ඨානං තස්ස උපට්ඨානං ආගඤ්ඤුං එයා උපස්ථානයට ලක් වුණාලු කාගෙන්ද බ්‍රාහ්මණයන්ගෙන් ඒ වගේම වෙළඳ රජවරුන්ගෙන් බ්‍රාහ්මණයන්ගෙන් මේ ආදී වශයෙන් සමාජයේ උසස්යයි සම්මත අයගෙන් ප්‍රශංසාවට සහ ගෞරව ආදරයට පත් වුණාලු. මේක නිදර්ශනයක් හැටියට අරගෙන බැලුවාම බුදුදහමේ උගන්වන ඊටාම හොඳ මානවීය සහ මානව කේන්ද්‍රීය ලක්ෂණයක් තමයි ඕනෑම පරිසරයක ඕනෑම තැනක උත්පත්තිය ලබන කෙනෙකුට විභව ශක්තිය කියලා දෙයක් තියෙනවා. විභව ශක්තිය. විභව ශක්තිය හැම කෙනෙකුටම තිබෙනවා. එම විභව ශක්තිය එළියට ඇද ගැනීම තමයි ඒ පුද්ගලයාගේ දක්ෂතාවය මත සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ. හැම පුද්ගලයෙකුටම විභව ශක්තියක් තියෙනවා. ඒ විභව ශක්තිය එළියට ගැනීමෙන් එය ප්‍රකාශනයපත් කිරීමෙන් එය එළියට ගැනීමට උදව් උපකාර කිරීමෙන් සහයෝගී වීම තමයි බෞද්ධ දේශනාවේ එක අරමුණක් වෙන්නේ. ඒ අනුව කෙනෙකුට බුද්ධ ආගමේ උගන්වන අරහත් භාවයටපත් වෙන්න. අරහත් භාවයටපත් වෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ කෙලෙසුන් නැති කිරීමට. ඒ වගේම ඇලීම් වලින් ලෝභ, ද්වේෂ, මෝහ කියන මේ අකුසල මූලයන් වලින් අපි උපාදානය කරගෙන ඉන්න ඇලීමේ අපි ආදානය කරගෙන ඉන්න දේවල් වලින් නිමිලා සැනසීම උදා කර ගැනීම නිර්වාණය හැටියට සඳහන් කරනවා. නිවන වාන නිවාන වචනේ අර්ථය තමයි තෘෂ්ණාව නැති කිරීම. තෘෂ්ණාව කියලා කියන්නේ මේ දේවල් වලට කාමක ලෝකේ අපි තිබෙන අඩු වැඩි වශයෙන් තිබෙන බැඳීම්. ඒ බැඳීම් ලෞකික ජීවිතයට අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා වගේම එය සංසාරික ජීවිතයේ ඉදිරියට පවත්වා ගැනීමටත් හේතු වෙනවා. ඉතින් බුද්ධාගමේ උගන්වන සෝවාන්, සකුදාගාමි, අනාගාමි, අරහත් කියන මේ ඵල වලට පිළිවෙලින් පැමිණ පරම නිෂ්ඨාව ඇති කර ගන්නයි. දැන් මෙහෙම කීවහම මේ ගාථාවෙන් ප්‍රකාශ කරාම මේකටම සමානුපාතව යන තවත් එක් සූත්‍රයක් අපිට සඳහන් කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේ සූත්‍රයේ තියෙන්නේ අංගුත්තර නිකායේ අටක නිපාතේ 9 වෙනි මහා වර්ගයේ 9 වෙනි සූත්‍රය. මේ සූත්‍රයේ නම පහාරාද සූත්‍රය. පහාරාද සූත්‍රයේදී බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ හමුවට එන්නේ පහාරාද කියන අසුරේන්ද්‍රයා. පහාරාද අසුරේන්ද්‍ර ආශ්‍රය කරන්නේ ආශ්‍රයකට වාසය කරන්නේ මහා මුහුදයි. මහා මුහුද ආශ්‍රය කොට වාසය කරන කරුණු 8ක් බුදුහාමුදුරන්ට සඳහන් කරනවා මේ අසුරේන්ද්‍ර තෙමේ පැමිණ. ඒ 8 අතරින් මහා මුහුදේ ජීවත් වීමට ආස කරන කරුණු 8ක්. ඒ කරුණු 8න් දෙකක් සඳහන් වෙනවා මේ වගේ. එකක් තමයි මහා මුහුද මේ හැමෝම අපි දන්න අපිට පේන දකින යන්න කැමැති කරුණු 8න් එකක් තමයි 8න් දෙකෙන් එකක් තමයි මේ ලෝකෙම තියෙන ගංගාවන්. මේ ලෝකෙම තියෙන ගංගාවන් එංගලන්තේ තියෙන ගංගාවනුත් ලංකාවේ තියෙන ගංගාවනුත් විශේෂයෙන් මේ සූත්‍රයේ සඳහන් වෙන විදිහට ඉන්දියාවේ තියෙන ගංගා පහක් සඳහන් වෙනවා. ගංගා යමුනා අචිරවති සරබු මහේ. මේ ගංගාවන් පහ ඉන්දියාවෙන් මහා මුහුදට ගලා ගියාට පස්සේ මේ ගංගා නම් ගඟේ ජලය මෙම යමුනා නදී ජලය මේ සරබු නදී ජලය කියලා වර්ගීකරණයට ලක් කරන්න බෑ. එහෙම සඳහන් කරන්න කිසිම සාධකයක් නැහැ. අදටත් එහෙම තියෙනවද කියන එක පිළිබඳව එහෙම හොයන්න නිගමනය කරන්න පුළුවන් කමක් නැහැ. මහා මුහුදට මේ ජලය වැටුනහම එකම ජලයක් බවට පත් වෙලා එම ජලය මහා මුහුදේ පවතිනවා. පහාරාද සූත්‍රයේ හැටියට මහා මුහුදේ තියෙන ලක්ෂණ ශාසනයට උපමා කරලා දේශනා කරලා තිබෙනවා. ඒකින් කරුණු දෙකක් මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ තෝරාගත්තේ. ඒ අනුව සිව් මහා ගංගාවලින් හෝ පංචම ගංගාවලින් මේ ලෝකේ තියෙන ගංගාවලින් මහා මුහුදට වැටෙන ජලය එක සමානව නම් ගොත් හැරදමයිද මේ ශාසනයට විවිධ නම් ಜಾති කුල ගෝත්‍ර වශයෙන් ඉන්න සියලු දෙනාම ශාසනයට එකතු වුණාම බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ දේශනා කරන ධර්ම මාර්ගයේ ගමන් කරාම ධර්ම මාර්ගය කියලා කියන්නේ ආර්ය අෂ්ටාංග මාර්ගයේ ගමන් කරාම ශාසනික බ්‍රහ්මචර්යාවට පැමිණියාම ඒ සියලු දෙනාම ශාක්‍ය පුත්‍ර ගෞතමයන්ගේ ශ්‍රාවකයෝ බවට පත් වෙනවා. ඒ අය මුලින් සඳහන් කළ භාවිතා කළ සමාජ සම්මත රජවරු සිටුවරු බමුණු හීන කුල මධ්‍යම කුල ඊයේ වගේ සඳහන් වන ජාතිකත්වය ආගමිකත්වය සියල්ලම තුරන් වෙලා එකම පිරිසක් බවට පරිවර්තනය වෙනවා. එය මේ ශාසනයේ පවතින ඊටාම අద్භූත ආශ්චර්යමත් ලක්ෂණයක් ඇටියට බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ සඳහන් කරනවා. මහා මුහුදේ එම ගංගා සියල්ලම එකට වැටුනහම එක මහා මුහුදක් බවට පත් වෙන්න වගේ මේ ලෝකේ ඉන්න මිනිස්සු විවිධ වර්ගවල මිනිස්සු මේ ශාසනික සම්ප්‍රදාය අනුගමනය කළාම ඒ අය භුක්ති විඳින්නේ ධර්ම රසය. ඒ අය සතුටු වෙන්නේ ධර්ම ප්‍රීතියෙන් ධර්මයේ හැසිරීමෙන් දහම් පණිවිඩයෙන් තමයි ඒ අයගේ සිත් සතන් සනසාගන්නේ. ඒ අනුව එකම පුද්ගල කොට්ටාසයක් බවට පරිවර්තනය වෙනවා. ඒකින් ප්‍රකාශ වෙන අනිත් කාරණේ තමයි විවිධ හැකියාවන් තියෙන විවිධ අයට එකට මේ ශාසනික සම්ප්‍රදාය අනුගමනය කරාම එක පිරිසක් බවට පරිවර්තනය වෙන්න පුළුවන් බව. අර මාතංගට සෝපාකට මාතංග හීන කුලයේ සම්මත කෙනෙකුට අසනික සම්ප්‍රදාය හැටියට නිවන් අවබෝධ කරගත්තට පස්සේ සැලකිලි සත්කාර සංග්‍රහ ලබන්න පුළුවන් වගේ ආධ්‍යාත්මික ගුණ වගාව තුල ඒ අයට උසස් තත්වයකට ආධ්‍යාත්මික වශයෙන් පත් වෙන්න පුළුවන් බව සඳහන් වෙලා තිබෙනවා. පහාරාද සූත්‍රයේ සඳහන් වෙන මේ ගාථාවට අදාළව ඊළඟ කාරණේ තමයි මේ මහා මුහුදට වතුර වැටුනහම ලවණ රහිත නැති ජලය ගංගාවල තියෙන්නේ. ගංගාවල සාමාන්‍යයෙන් පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන් බොන්න පුළුවන් ලුණු රස නැති ජලය තිබෙන්නේ. හැබැයි මේ මහා ගංග කොච්චර වැස්ස වැහැලා ගංගා පිරීලා ඉතිරිලා මහා මුහුදට මේ ගංගා ජලය කොපමණ ගියත් ඒ ජලය මහා මුහුදට වැටුණු සැනින්ම ලුණු රස බවට පත් වෙනවා. මේක මහා මුහුදේ තිබෙන මහා විශාල ආශ්චර්යයක් හැටියට පහාරාද බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේට සඳහන් කරනවා. බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ පහාරාදයට සඳහන් කරනෝ පින්වත්නි මහා පහාරාදය මේ ශාසනයේ තිබෙන ආශ්චර්ය මේහා සමානයි. විවිධ වූ පැති වලින් විවිධ වූ ಜಾති වලින් විවිධ වූ රට වලින් විවිධ වූ හීන කුල වලින් විවිධ වූ මධ්‍යම කුල වලින් මේ ශාසනික සම්ප්‍රදායට ඇතුල් වෙන අය එකම රසයක් භුක්ති විඳිනවා. එකම රසයක් ඒ අය අනුගමනය කරනවා. ඒ තමයි ධර්ම රසය. ඒ ධර්ම රසය අනුගමනය කරන්න විවිධ කිසිම බාධාවක් මිනිසෙක් වෙලා ඉපදීමම ප්‍රමාණවත්. තවත් සරලව සඳහන් කළොත් මේ සූත්‍රයේ මේ ගාථාවේ හැටියට දිගුවක් හැටියට සඳහන් කරන්න පුළුවන්. බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ අවුරුදු 2600කට කලින් අපිට මේ බව දේශනා කළා. මේවා මේ පිරිත් පොත් තුල අන්තර්ග්‍රහණය කරලා තිබෙනවා. මේ ධර්මය ක්‍රිස්තු පූර්ව පළවෙනි සියවසේ ලංකාවේ රචනා වෙලා ලෝකයට මේ දක්වා මහා බ්‍රිතාන්‍යයේ මේ පන්සල් විශාල ප්‍රමාණයකින් සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ එම ධර්මය ජනතාවට ප්‍රචාරණය කිරීම, ධර්ම ප්‍රචාරණය කටයුතු සිද්ධ කිරීම, ඒ වගේම මේ තුලින් මේ ධර්මයේ තුල ඇතේ ධර්ම කරුණු අපේ ජීවිතයට ප්‍රායෝගිකව ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීමෙන් අපේ මෙලොව ජීවිතයේ අර්ථ කාම අර්ථ ධර්ම කාම මෝක්ෂ කියන මේ චතුර්විධ සම්පත් ලබා ගැනීමට මේ පිටක පොතෙන් එහෙම නැත්නම් පිරුවානා පොත් වහන්සේ තුලින් අපේ ජීවිතයට ලං කරගත යුතු කරුණු සොයා ලීමයි, කරුණු ප්‍රකාශ කිරීමයි, කරුණු දේශනා කිරීමයි මෙම ධර්ම දේශනා මාලාවල ආරමුණ. ඒ අනුව මේ අවස්ථාවේදී ඒ කටයුතු මේ සිද්ධ වෙන අතරතුරේදී මේ අවස්ථාවේ මෙම ධර්ම දේශනාවේ මූලික හරය හැටියට මේ වසල සූත්‍රයේ 23 වෙනි ගාථාව පදනම් කරගෙන බුදුන් වහන්සේ තුල පැවතිච්ච උත්තරීතර මානව ගුණාංගයක් ඒ තමයි මානව කේන්ද්‍රීය ලක්ෂණය උන්වහන්සේ දේශනා කළ බව, උන්වහන්සේ manussත්වය උතුම් කොට සැලකූ බව, උන්වහන්සේට ගෞරවයක් හැටියට මේ බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ පිරිනුවම් පාල වසර 2600ක් පමණ ගත වෙන අවස්ථාවේ අපි මේ අවස්ථාවේ සිහිපත් කරමින් මේ කරුණු අපි චරිතායනය කරමින් අපේ ජීවිත ආලෝකමත් කරගෙන අවසන උතුම් වූ නිර්වාණ ශාන්තිය ලබා ගන්නට අප හැම දිනාටම ශක්තිය, ධෛර්යය, වාසනාව, වීරිය උදා වේවා. සාදු 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 කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරමු.
සාදු සාදු සාදු. අද දවසේ නියමිත වසල සූත්‍රයේ ඇසුරෙන් සිදු කරන ධර්ම දේශනා මාලාවේ 23 වන ගාථාව විග්‍රහ කරමින් වටිනා දහම් කරුණු සිහිපත් කරමින් ඒ ධර්මානුශාසනාව පවත්වනු ලැබුවේ ගාල්ල බද්දේගම ශ්‍රී රත්නසාර විද්‍යායතනයේ විදුහල්පති එවැගේම බද්දේගම දුටුගැමුණු රජ මහා විහාරස්ථානයේ අතිපූජනීය දාම්මල පියනන්ද පණ්ඩිත හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ අප කෙරෙහි අනුකම්පාවෙන් සෑම සෙනසුරාදා දිනකම සිදු කරන මේ ධර්ම දානමය වැඩසටහනේ ධර්ම දේශනාව පැවැත්වීමෙන් රැස් කරගත් ධර්ම දානමය කුසලය ආශිර්වාදය උන්වහන්සේගේ සියලු ශාසනික අභිමතාර්ථයන් ඉෂ්ට සිද්ධ වීමටත් නිදුක් නිරෝගී භාවයේ පිණිසත් හේතු වාසනා ආශිර්වාදයක් බවට පත් වේවා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. හැම දිනාටමත් විශේෂයෙන් අද දවසේ දායකත්වය අරගෙන කටයුතු කරන ඇන් ශිලිෂි මහත්මිය ඇතුළු පවුලේ සියලු දෙනාටමත් ඒ උතුම් ආශිර්වාදයේ සැලසේවා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරමින් හැම දිනාටම සෙත් පතමින් සිංහල ධර්මානුශාසනාව අවසන් වෙනු ලබනවා. Now we are moving into our chanting of protection blessings. Let us join together to do the chanting of blessings. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Evaṃ me sutaṃ ekam samayaṃ bhagavā sāvattiyam viharati jetavane anāta pindikassa ārāme atako bhagavā pumbannha samayaṃ nivāsettvā patta cīvara mādāya sāvattiyam pindāya pāvisītena kopana samaye Angika bharadvajassa brahmanassa nivesane aggi pajjalito ti ahuti paggahita atako bhagavā sāvattiyam sapadānaṃ pindāya caramāno yena angika bharadvajassa brahmanassa nivesanaṃ tenupasankami Addasako aggika bharadvajo brahmano bhagavantam duratova agaccantam disvana bhagavantam etadavoca tatreva mundaka tatreva samanaka tatreva vasalaka titthaiti evam butte bhagavā aggika bharadvājam brahmanam etadavoca jānāsi panatvaṃ brahmana vasalam vā vasalakarane vā dhammeti nakvāhaṃ bhogotama jānāmi vasalam vā vasalakarane vā dhamme sādhu me bhavaṃ gotamo tatā dhammaṃ desetu yatahaṃ jāneyaṃ vasalam vā vasalakarane vā dhammeti yenahi brahmana sunahi sadhukaṃ manasi karohi vasissāmiti evaṃ Bodhiko aggika bharadvajo brahmano bhagavato paccassosi bhagavā etadavoca odano upanayi ca papamakki ca yo naro vippanna ditti māyāvi tanjanya vasalo iti ekajang vā dvijang vāpi Yodapānāni hingsati tassa pyassa pāne dayananti tanjanya vasalo iti yohanti parirundati gamani nigamani ca niggāhako samanyāto tanjanya vasalo iti game vāyadivāranye yang pare sanghamāyi Tanteyya adinnam adiyati tanjanya vasalo iti yohave inamadaya jujjamano palaiti nahite inamatti te tanjanya vasalo iti yoe kinchikka kamyata pantasming vajatanganam mantva kinchikka madete tanjanya vasalo iti yo atta hetu para hetu dana hetu cayo naro sakki putto musabruhi tanjanya vasalo iti yo nyati nang sakanang
වා ධාරේසු පතිදිස්සති සහසා සම්පියේන වා තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති
යෝ මාතරං වා පිතරං වා ජින්නකං ගත
යොප්පනං
පහුසන්තෝන බරති තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ මාතරං වා පිතරං වා වාතරං භගිනින් සසුං හන්ති රෝසේති වාචාය තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ
ඉති
යෝ අත්තං පුච්චිතෝ සන්තෝ අනත්ත මනුසාසති පටිච්චන්නේන මන්තේති තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ කତ୍වා පාපකං කම්මං මාමං ජඤ්ඤාති චති යෝ
පටිච්චන්න
කම්මන්තෝ තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති
යෝ වේ පර කුලං
ගන්්වා බුත්වාන සුචි භෝජනං ආගතං පටිපූජේති තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ බ්‍රාහ්මණං වා සමනං වා අඤ්ඤං වාපි වනිබ්බකං මුසාවාදේන වංචේති තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ බ්‍රාහ්මණං වා සමනං වා පත්තකාලේ උපට්ඨිතේ රෝසේති වාචානච දේති තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති අසතං යෝද පබ්‍රෝති මෝහේන පලිගුණ්ඨිතෝ කිංචික්ඛං නිගිගස්සානෝ තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ චත්තානං සමුක්ඛං සේ පරංච මවජානති නීනෝ සේන මානේන තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති රෝසකෝ කදරියෝ ච පාපිච්චෝ මච්චරී සටෝ අහිරිකෝ අනොත්තප්පි තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ බුද්ධං පරිභාසති අතවා තස්ස ශාවකං පරිභාජං ගාඨං වා තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ වේ අනරහා සන්තෝ අරහං පටිජානති චෝරෝ සබ්‍රක්මකේ ලෝකේ ඒසකෝ වසලාදමෝ ඒතේ කෝ වසලා බුත්තා මයාවෝ යේ පකාසිතා නජ්ජා වසලෝති නජ්ජා හෝති බ්‍රාහ්මනෝ කම්මනා වසලෝ හෝති කම්මනා හෝති බ්‍රාහ්මනෝ තතමිනාපි විජානාත යතා මේදං නිදස්සනං චණ්ඩාල පුත්තෝ සෝපාකෝ මාතංගෝ ඉති විසුතෝ සෝයසං පරමං පත්තෝ මාතංගෝ යං සුදුල්ලභං ආගඤ්ඤුං තස්සු පට්ඨානං කත්තියා බ්‍රාහ්මනා බව සෝ දේවයාන මාරුය්‍ය විරජං සෝමා පතං කාමරාගං විරාජෙත් බ්‍රහ්මලෝකෝපගෝ අවුනතං ජාති නිවාරේසි බ්‍රහ්මලෝකෝපපත්තියා අජ්ජායක කුලේ ජාතා බ්‍රාහ්මනාවන්ත බන්දුනෝ තේච පාපේසු කාමේසු අබින්න මුපදිස්සරේ දිත්තේව ධම්මේ ගාරය්‍යා සම්පරායේච දුක්ඛදේ නතේ ජාති නිවාරේති දුක්ඛංචා ගරහායවා නචජ්ජා වසලෝති නචජ්ජා හෝති බ්‍රාහ්මනෝ කම්මනා වසලෝති කම්මනා හෝති බ්‍රාහ්මනෝ එවං බුද්ධ Te Angika Bharadvajo Brahmano Bhagavantang Etadamocha Abhikantang Bhogotama Abhikantang Bhogotama Seyatapi Bhogotama Nikunjitang Va Ukkunjaya Patichannang Va Vivareya Mullasam Va Maggang Ajikkeya Andhakare Va Tela Pajjotang Dhareya Chakkumanto Rupani Dakkinti Evamevang Bhota Gotamena Aneka Pariyayena Dhammo Pakasito Esahang Bhagavantang Gotamang Saranang Gacchami Dhammang Ca Sanghu Sanghang Ca Upasakang Mang Bhavang Gotamo Dhareru Ajjatagge Panupetang Saranang Gatanti Etena Satya Vajjena Sottite Hotu Sabbada Etena Satya Vajjena Sabbarogo Vinasatu Etena Satya Vajjena Hotu Te Jaya Mangalang Yandun Nimittang Avamangalang Yocha Manapo Sapunassa Saddo Papakkaho Dussupinan Akantang Buddhanubhavena Vinasamento Yandung Nimittang Avamangalang Yocha Manapo Sapunassa Saddo Papakkaho Dussupinan Akantang Dhammanubhavena Vinasamento Yandun Nimittang Avamangalang Yocha Manapo Sapunassa Saddo Papakkaho Dussupinan Akantang Sanghanubhavena Vinasamento Dukkhapatta Nindukha Bhayapatta Nibbaya Sokampatta Nissoka Hontu Sabbe Pipanino Sabbe Buddha Balampatta Pache Khananjayang Balang Arhang Tananca Tejena Rakkang Bandami Sabbaso Sabbe Buddha Balampatta Pache Khananjayang Balang Arhang Tananca Tejena Rakkang Bandami Sabbaso Sabbe Buddha Balapatta Pachekananca Yang Balang Arhantananca Tejena Rakkang Bandami Sabbaso Devo Vassatu Kalena Sassa Sampatti Hetuca Pito Bhavatu Lokoca Aja Bhavatu Dhammiko Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Now we are moving into our English Dhamma sermon. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the worthy one, supremely enlightened Lord Buddha. Soya sang paramang patto matangoyang sudullabang agangyung tassu pattanang kattiya brahmana bahu. With the permission of our Venerable Sir, dear friends in the Dhamma, today our Dhamma title is the 23rd Gatha of the Aggika Bharadwaja Sutta, the discourse delivered to the Brahmin Bharadwaja. We also call this particular discourse as Vasala Sutta, the discourse on outcast. We have been delivering series of talks based on every stanza of that discourse, explaining in detail the meaning and the Dhamma reflected in that each Gatha of the discourse. This particular Gatha, so yasam paramang patto matangoyam sudullabam. This matanga, a gentleman, attained the highest fame, which is so difficult to gain. Aganyum tassu pattanam kattiya brahmana bahu. Because of that spiritual gain, difficult to gain, he got the highest fame. Many people went to attend him, respect him, follow him. Among those many were the warriors called the Kshatriya caste and the Brahmins, the spiritual caste. Matanga, formerly known as Sopaka, born into a low caste family at that time of the Buddha, gained much popularity, which is not something that can easily. As a result, the members of the royalty and even spiritual families like Brahmins came to attend him. During or throughout the history in the land of India, there was a very divisive, very distinctive social divisions through caste system. And they believed strongly that caste system exists by birth. As a result, people were discriminated, not given equal opportunities to partake in every opportunity in the society. At this occasion, our Lord Buddha, in his formal and normal alms round, when he was residing at Devuram Behera in Savatthi, went for an alms round at the lunchtime. Happened to step into this householder called Brahmin Bharadwaja. By that time, he was ready to practice his spiritual activity by setting the fire and putting the offerings into the fire. He saw the Blessed One coming, got very angry, and instantly very aggressively abused verbally, saying outcast, bald-headed, recluse called Mudu Mahana, and threatened him to stay where he was, not to come closer to the house. The Blessed One, the Lord Buddha, was very calm and patiently asked him, does he know the meaning of the outcast that he used to abuse, condemn, let down the Buddha? He said that he doesn't know the true characteristics under which one becomes an outcast. Then our Lord Buddha asked, may I explain those characteristics that one becomes an outcast? He replied, may I please request the Venerable Gautama to preach Dhamma to enable him to know who an outcast is and the conditions which make one an outcast. The Buddha said to the Brahmin, listen very attentively and explain mainly 33 characteristics that one become an outcast. The first one, angry person. Second one, who has hatred. Third one, who given misinterpretation to destroy the good qualities of others. Believing wrong view. Those who cheat others. Those who kill animals. Those who put into trouble the villages and cities. Those who steal things are not belong to oneself. Those who take the loans or debts and eventually says that they haven't taken any loans or debts. Those who looting. Those who give false evidence. Those who misconduct by associating friends or other people's spouses. Those who do not look after the parents, teachers, who are elderly and less able. Those who do not treat rightly for the brothers and sisters and close relatives. Those who do not really explain when someone asks something, instead giving misinterpretations purposely. Those who do something wrong and even conceal the evidence or saying that he or she did not do that. Those who enjoy good things or food or any hospitality from other people's, but when they visit their house, they do not treat well. Those who cheat the monks or mendicants or beggars promise the monks or beggars and do not fulfill that. Those who abuse with harsh, abusive words, particularly to the monks or spiritual people who visit their house, instead of giving food or drinks or whatever hospitality, those who raucously, very angrily abuse by harsh words, those who say cheating words, thinking that they would have to do something or give something, those who have conceit, ego, thinking oneself is superior and others are inferior, those who have rough behaviors, those who are stingy, very greedy, those who have very inhuman ideas, thoughts, those who have jealous, those who are very cunning, those who are not afraid of doing evil, those who are not ashamed of doing evil, those who insult the Buddha, those who insult the Buddhist disciples, Buddha's disciples, those who are humiliating householders or spiritual people, those who claim they are enlightened, which they are not really attain any spiritual higher things, they are thieves, stronger than a real thief. And finally, he said very interesting thing, the 33rd characteristics of Vasala. He says, by birth is not one an outcast, by birth is not one a Brahmin, means a spiritual person, by deed one an outcast, by deed is one a Brahmin or holy person. By saying this, he gave an example. In a previous life, he said he was born into a low caste family. He was known as Sopaka. This Sopaka later practiced meditation and the Dhamma. As a result, he was called Matanga. By being a special person, by practicing meditation, practicing spiritual qualities, he became very famous. By that time, the caste system was very strong. Some were even not allowed to say a spiritual stanza. They were physically harmed if they do. They were not allowed to even visit the temples. The whole society politically were being divided into 4 groups of community. The highest of them were called the spiritual people. They were the highest. But to become a spiritual person, they should be born into that families, and no other person is allowed to enter into a such family. That was the system. And the second group were rulers. The rulers were the second highest. The rulers, nobody can't go from other class of the society to become a ruler, politician, they should be born into that particular class, society. And the next one called merchants, those who are maintaining the economy of the country, business people. Nobody can do the business, they should be born into that. They said by birth. The rest of the people were called servants, laborers, and they were the lowest in the society. At that time, our Lord Buddha was born and make a revolution of thinking by explaining that by birth a person do not belong into a class or social level. By actions, because of this very powerful open teachings of the Buddha, a society started to change. However, the story, the example given about the life of Matanga, or formerly known as Sopaka, by that time Buddha was not being born. The society was very strong because of the caste system. So this Matanga, called before Sopaka, was on the street. By that time, one of the merchant family, a lady of a daughter of a merchant, business person, was traveling on the street to go into a royal park for a celebration. This Sopaka, born into a lower class, seeing this charioteer come, the cart comes, went into the outside the road, tried to hide. However, he was seen by this Ditta Mangalika, that was called, and she instantly washed the eyes because she has seen a bad sign, a low class person. And even the rest of the crew, which were going along with this lady, came and beaten very badly to this person, saying, by being onto the street, that person missed the whole journey, ruined the whole day, because it's a bad sign to see a low class person on the street. And therefore, this person was humiliated very badly. But this person was very strong in mind. After that, went into the house of this lady of the merchant, daughter of this merchant, and made a very strong protest, saying, I am being humiliated. I will not move from this place until I was given the daughter of that merchant as the wife. This merchant and the many people try to remove this person, but this person did not go. Eventually, the merchant decided to give his daughter hand in marriage to this person. And this person, the daughter, was also agreed, because they have to resolve this situation. When the daughter came saying that I would like to be married to you and go away with you, this person said, I am being beaten. My whole body is in pain, very weak. Therefore, I can't walk. Please put me on your back. You got to carry me to my house. But this daughter of the merchant agree to this because this person need to be get rid of, otherwise there is no way. So this person was carried. This is called Matanga Jataka. You can read the Jataka story. After being to the house, this person said to the wife, "You've been very kind. You agree to come with me. You are my wife now. I want to make you proud. And I will make you very famous in this world. Therefore, allow me 7 days." He went into the forest, the wood, and start practicing meditation and spiritual practice. As a result, he gained 8 jhanas. We call Atta Samapatti. Pancha Abhijñā, 5 super knowledges in the meditation, in the spiritual practice, and came to the house and said, "You need to go to the town and say to everyone that your husband is not a lower caste person. He is the Mahabrahma. Mahabrahma means the highest God in the world." People will not believe it because everybody knows he was born into a lower class. Therefore, go and tell them, "My husband went into the Brahma world, that is highest divine realm, and he will come on full moon day from the moon in the sky." And this lady called Ditta Mangalika went around the country and the city, published this news, and everybody was so amazed and eagerly waiting to see this miracle. And this person who gained the higher spiritual powers made that miracle, turning into a divine being, highly eminent divine being, came out of the moon, illuminating the whole area. All the area was shocked. And from that day onwards, he was known as Matanga and worshipped by so-called higher class people who humiliated him many years ago, saying he's an outcast. Among those higher class, mainly the rulers, royalty, warriors, even the spiritual beings. So what we need to understand here, if you develop your humanity, if you develop your spiritual powers, you would be, many people, even in different scale, like bullying, humiliating, let down, not given the opportunities. We encourage you to develop your confidence in the spiritual practice. That would be much powerful than any human interventions. I explained it in the previous Gatha as well. I just wanted to bring your attention a little bit more about what is this 8 types of jhanas and 5 super knowledges. Asta Samapatti, Pancha Abhijñā, that gained through the meditation practice. There are 8 jhanas, that means very deep, progressive states of absorptions in meditation. Your mind can be fine, refine, develop into a very progressive 8 states of absorptions when you practice the spiritual things, meditations. The first 4 of those are conducive to very pleasant abiding and free from suffering. So when you gain the first 4 absorptions, first 4 jhanas, you would experience pleasant abiding, means lot of happiness, lot of joy, lot of peace, and you are completely free from pain and suffering, which is the first 4 states of absorptions, jhanas, eliminate the 5 hindrances in the mind. What are the 5 hindrances? Greed, aversion, sloth and torpor, agitation, and doubt. Just imagine when you meditate or practice those spiritual things, your mind completely, when it comes to the 1, 2, 3, 4th jhana out of 8, that is completely been subdued. And as a result, that difficulties and pains are being completely eradicated, and it can last for many hours, so long as you maintain it. And then it empowers meditator's mind to penetrate the deepest truth of existence. Then next 4 out of the 8, last 4 out of these 8 are further deep states of meditative absorptions. The first 4 is called Rupavachara, which means material or form states. The last 4 is called Arupavachara, which is immaterial or formless absorptions in the mind. Those formless absorptions brings complete emptiness in the mind, very blissful state of life. The first jhana, first absorption, when person gains that, they get the happiness, unaffected state of mind. And the second state of absorption gives the rapture, pleasure, a good feeling. Third brings the serenity, and the 4th brings the equanimous nature. That is called form jhanas or material states of absorptions. Formless arupavachara states of mind brings dimensions of infinite space and dimensions of infinite consciousness. That space, infinite space, akasanyayatane, viññānañcāyatane, when the person further develops the meditation, the person's mind goes into even beyond that space and goes into the consciousness. The person started to experience the infinite consciousness. When the person starts further and further meditation, that meditation absorption develops into dimension of nothingness. And eventually the fourth, the eighth jhana is the neither perception nor non-perception. Neva sanya, na sanyayatana, we call it. However, you can remember those 8. There are 4 rupavachara, that means form absorptions, which is to eliminate all the 5 hindrances. The 5th one is called infinite space, akasanyayatana. 6th one is called infinite consciousness, viññānañcāyatana. 7th one is called infinite nothingness, ākiñcaññāyatana. The 8th one is called neither perception nor non-perception, neva saññā, na saññāyatana. When the person absorbs that, the person's mind comes into the state of equanimity, equanimous nature called upekkha. In the state of that upekkha, equanimous nature, all the uncomfortable things, all the difficulties subdued, disappears. Eventually lead into ekaggata, single pointedness in the mind. Means very deep concentration that come to the hold of all the stimuli from the exterior world. So the person completely goes into the absorptions, do not have stimuli, disturbances of the external worlds. Those are the 8 jhanas. Those, particularly the first 4, is very special, very helpful for us to gain the right wisdom and right understanding. However, Buddha encourages us to not to addict into it, because that will not completely lead us into the free from all suffering. Once one gain that, the person can develop the 5 deep knowledges. Those are called pancha abhiññā. Those are dibba chakku, the divine eye. The person can see in distance. Dibba sota, divine hearing. This person can hear distance hearing. Parachitta vijanana, person can read the other's mind. Pubbe nivasanussati jnana, person can recollect the previous births, previous lives. Iddhi means person can perform supernatural powers. That Iddhi, supernatural powers, is what this Matanga, this young man, performed to dispel the ego of the people by that time due to the caste system. You may remember our Lord Buddha did the same. Buddha visited his own palace and they thought that they were royalty, so they did not really respect the Buddha. Buddha felt a little bit unhappy because they are not listening to the Buddha because of their ego in the mind. As a result, Buddha did twin miracle, we call Yamamaha Pelahara, to dispel the ego conceit of those minds. when he did that miracle, twin miracle, everybody realized he is a very special teacher and listen to the Buddha. Those are called abhinya. However, those higher knowledge called abhinya, Buddha said, should not be addicted. It is not that very helpful. In a different form, he explained higher knowledge abhinya as the pursuit of noble eightfold path. In there, Buddha said that one should be comprehend. What is need to be comprehend? Abundant. What is need to be abundant? Experience. What is need to be experienced? Cultivated. What is need to be cultivated? That is what he really encouraged, the Buddhist form of abhinya, higher knowledge. But still Buddha believe, experience those other form of spiritual psychic powers. Once our Buddha was on his one of the journey, about to cross a river. When he went into the river, the boat has gone to the other side. He was waiting till the boat comes so that he can take the boat and go to the other side of the river. There were few other people waiting there. Another spiritual person came while Buddha and other people were waiting, asked, where is the boat? These people said boat has gone to the other side and it will take about few more minutes to come. This spiritual person instantly did a miracle. Without waiting the boat, he just walked on the water, fly over the river, went into the other side. Everybody was amazed and said to the Buddha, you are the superior person, why can't you do such miracles? Buddha asked how much it cost for the boat person to take us into the other side. It was like 1 penny. Buddha said, I would not do miracles for a penny. It is not a good example. Similarly, he had the ability, even one of our disciples called Moggallana had the ability to perform those psychic powers like levitating, walking on the water, and things like that. But Buddha did not encourage, because that does not lead into the happiness. Therefore, what he encouraged as abhinya, the higher knowledge, comprehend what need to be comprehend, abundant what need to be abundant, experience what need to be experienced, cultivate what need to be cultivated. So what are the things need to be comprehend? He said 5 aggregates of clinging, pancha upadanakkhandha, need to be comprehend. What need to be abundant? He said ignorance and desire need to be, that is the abhinya, Buddha said, higher knowledge. Then what need to be experience? He said the knowledge and liberation, nibbana, need to be experienced. What need to be cultivated? He said the real abhinya, real deep knowledge is to cultivate the samatha vipassana, that is called calming meditation and insight meditation. Because when we are developing those, we started to have chanda raga, which means desire and passion. This desire and passion can defile your mind through what you see, through what you hear, through what you say, through what you experience, through all your 6 senses that can defile your mind, and that will lead into more suffering and to the journey of birth and death cycle. Whereas those who are abandoning those things would gain the full realization, free from suffering. So those are the highly powers that this gentleman attained, called Matanga. As a result, he was able to break the pride of those who believe without having real spiritual qualities. They thought by birth they are higher people, but it does not. One becomes higher person by action, by deed, by qualities, by effort, by determination, cultivating good education, right education, deep knowledge, kind of abhinya, in the sense of what need to be comprehend, what need to be abundant, what need to be experienced, what need to be cultivated, which is Four Noble Truth, Noble Eightfold Path. In that person gains the Trivijja. Trivijja means 3 special knowledges. One is called Pubbe Nivasanussati Jnana, remembrance of former lives. Dibba Chakku, divine eye. Asavakkaya Jnana, extinction of mental intoxicants. That person, it says in the Mahachattarika Sutta, those who gain this Trividya, 3 knowledges, overcome all suffering and attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. So this is the deep meaning of this example cited by the Buddha, explaining the story of Matanga, called Matanga Jataka, story of the birth story of the Matanga. In the Jataka stories, he explained, by birth, person do not become a higher or lower person. By effort and spiritual practice, person becomes a special person. With that, I would conclude my Dhamma reflection for the today Dhamma talk. I just try to take you about the science of mind, how we can really develop our spiritual life in the meditation and gain the special knowledges, special qualities, and gain the best benefits of the meditation practice. We here make facilities to allow everyone to experience few minutes of meditation. Now you get an idea how you can cultivate that mind to benefit from very special benefits of that practice. May this brings you all the happiness and the free from all the suffering. May this Dhamma Dana be a great blessing for you all. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. With that, I would like to reflect today's sponsor of this Dhamma Dana. With their kind sponsorship, we enable this Dhamma Dana to available for the all. Therefore, it is become a Dhamma Dana, which is the highest giving. Today, this is being sponsored by Mrs. Anne Schilizzi and family, particularly to mark the 5th year remembrance of merit transfer to loving husband Pete, who passed away 28th of April, and also to transfer the merits to loving parents, Mr. Lawrence and Mrs. Rosemary Gorham. Also to the good friend and Dhamma teacher, Mr. Paul Burton, who died last Sunday. May those merits be with them all. and would like to dedicate these blessings for the first grandson, Zachary Peter Schilizzi, who were born on 13th of April. May he have a wonderful, beautiful life with the power of and the blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And would like to share these merits and blessings with the friend Francis Dickenson and also stepfather Ted, wishing them all good health and happiness. They would like to dedicate these blessings for my parents and also for my birthday. May all the aspirations be fulfilled. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you. Now I will pass on to our Rasikaya and Padmanona to go ahead with the children's Dhamma sharing. We are very grateful those who are helping the children's program. I encourage other parents and others to help in these Dhamma teachings. Now I will pass on to our Rasikaya to go ahead with it.
Good evening, everyone. So, we are continuing our 23rd Gatha, which was directly related to the Gatha we learned last week as well. So we learned that someone becomes an outcast not by birth, but by their action. So Buddha had to give an example. Buddha had to give an example to prove this point. Why? Because at the time, in the Indian society, the casting system was deeply embedded into the people's mind. So if Buddha just said that someone does not become an outcast, not by birth, but by action, Agniya Bharatwada wouldn't have understood properly. So Buddha decided to give an example. What was the example? About Sopaka, a person who was born into a low caste family, developing psychic power with sheer determination and great effort. He cultivated, according to Samitha, 5 super knowledges. Not only that, 8 dhyanas as well. And Samitha gave a great detail into those superpowers and dhyanas and explained that. Our Priyananda as well gave us some examples. Priyananda said that if it's like all the water in the rivers, different rivers, the water flows into the ocean. And once they're in the ocean, you can't identify which one is which. That means the water cannot be separated. And they all become salty in the sea. Likewise, people who are practicing Dhamma by going through the path of Arya Ashtanga Marga, Eightfold Path, doesn't matter young, old, lower caste, higher caste, they all achieve nirvana if they succeed in that path. Great example. So we all have a very clear message from this data again. And that is, when you want to achieve something, it doesn't matter whether you have opportunities or not, whether you have other materials or not. What you need is determination, a clear mind, a clear goal, and a well-structured path. So children, you've got to pay gratitude to both Hindrances, giving us these valuable lifetime lessons to learn. You should feel yourself really lucky to hear these Dhamma lessons at your age. Because it gives you great opportunities to develop good qualities in you and become good people, good behaved people. So let us put our palms together and say, may this Dhammadana bring both Hindrances and the temple great happiness and great health. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you. Very good. Right, so we gave you some homework to do, and that is to share your knowledge about the Gatha you learned last week. So let us start with Chanaji, please. Thank you, Thanji.
I'm going to recite the 22nd Gatha of Vasala Sutra. Tadamina pi vijanata yata me danidasanang chandala putto sopako matango iti visuto. Meaning of the stanza is, known by example, a low caste born son called Sopaka become highly venerated Matanga, turned into holy by good deeds, not by caste or birth. Teruwan Saranai.
Can I ask Seth to go next, please?
Ada minapi vijanata yata medam nidasanam tandala puto sopako matango iti visito. In this Gatha, Lord Buddha cites an example to elaborate the fact that the birth as a so-called outcast is not an obstacle to proceed on the spiritual path and become famous. A person named Sopaka, who was born into an outcast family, was able to become famous and to be known as Matanga later on. Thank you for listening to Aron Saranai.
Sanket, please.
Tadamina patpacha nasa yasamadam nidasanam kadala putu sopako matango iti bisato. The meaning of this gatha is, know you by the example I now cite the fact that by birth one is not an outcast. There was an outcast son called Sopaka who became known as Matanga. Now the Buddha cites and know you by the example I now cite the fact that by birth one is not an outcast. There was an outcast son called Sopaka who became known as the Matanga, the highest class in the highest class system. Now the Buddha cites an example to elaborate the fact that the birth as a so-called outcast is not an obstacle to proceed on the spiritual path and become famous. A person named Sopaka, who was born into an outcast family, was able to become famous and known as a Matanga later on in his life. Thank you very much. Taranang Sanai.
Thank you, Sanket. Sorry about that disturbance. Metal and Mahal, please.
Chandan Muttu Sopako Matango Iti Visanko. The English meaning of the Gatha is, there was an outcast son, Sopaka, who became known as Matanga. Now the Buddha cites an example to elaborate that fact that the birth as so-called outcast is not an obstacle to proceed on the spiritual path and become famous. A person named Sopaka, who was born into an outcast family, was able to become famous and to be known as Matanga later on. The Sinhala meaning of the Gatha is, Taruani Nida Sunaten Kiyadena Viadaruek Sedul Gidraka Uyana Balumas Parapuren Ena Thank you for listening. Teruan Saranai.
Penitence hour, please.
Damitun Niddasananja Niddasananja Sopako Matango Iti Visanko.
The meaning of the Gatha is know by the example, and now cite the fact that birth is not an outcast. There was an outcast son, Parker, who became known as Matanga. The one son.
Avishyan Hassan, please.
Tadamina Vijanata Yatamedam Nidasanam Chandala Puto Saupako Matango Iti Visuto. Last week, from the 21st verse of the Vasala Sutra, we explained that one will become an outcast, not by his birth, but by his actions.
Yes, Sakka. From the 22nd verse of the Vasala Sutra, which we recited earlier, Lord Buddha explained this fact by giving an excellent example.
That's right, Malli. Lord Buddha presented the story of Sopaka, who was born into an outcast family, but later became very famous and known as Matanga, in order to show people that birth is immaterial.
I think we can learn more on this same fact in the next couple of verses too. Thank you for listening. Teruvan Saranai.
Thank you, Avishyakin Hasandaya. Tadamina Pivichanata Yatamedam Nidasanam Chandala Putto Sopako Matango Itivisato. This gatha basically means, know you by the example I now cite, the fact that by birth, one is not an outcast.
Many lifetimes ago, Buddha was a lower caste person called Sopaka, to be later known as Matanga. He once was walking along the royal path and Ditta Mangalika saw him and washed her eyes just because she saw a lower caste person. In reply, Matanga did nothing, but Ditta Mangalika's friends had beaten Matango very viciously, and I feel that's not right. In the modern times, now, you would definitely not do that, but because there was a caste system in India, this was acceptable. After a while, after being beaten, Matanga shouted at the Ditta Mangalika's father in his daughter's hand of marriage. Then, reluctantly, the rich man agrees, and Ditta Mangalika and Matanga marry.
After the marriage, Ditta Mangala's pride was fading. Then, Matanga told her that he needed 7 days to make her proud. In those 7 days, he meditated and defilements of the mind. Then he went back and told her to say to the public that he was the greatest Brahmin. Then Ditta Mangalika went from door to door telling the public.
The public were very excited to see this happen, so they flooded the town square and waited for the miracle to happen. Suddenly, Matanga appeared out of the moon, and the townspeople stared in awe as this miracle happened. This story shows that no matter by birth or by minority, you cannot be perceived as an outcast or a Brahmin. Thank you for listening.
Teruvan Saranai.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for sharing your knowledge with everyone else regarding this gatha. Right. I think it's time for us to go for
Question time.
questions, if you have any, please. Has anyone got any question?
No.
No? I'm going to ask you a question then. So we know that Sopaka became Markanda, Matanga, by doing what? What did he do? Yeah?
He meditated, he needed 7 days, and in those 7 days he meditated and overcome the 5 defilements of the mind.
So what? After meditating, what did he achieve? What did he achieve? Sankhya.
He did a miracle by halving the moon in half.
Thank you, Sankhya. Hasinda?
He achieved the ability to use psychic powers.
Yeah. What else, Seth? Anything else he achieved by meditating? Markanda?
I can't think of anything else, sorry.
No problem. Metal and Mehdi?
I'm not sure about my answer, but did he achieve enlightenment?
So Hamdullah said he achieved 8 dhyanas. And 5 super knowledge.
Superpowers.
Super knowledge. Yeah. So where were these superpowers? Where were they? Were they in the forest? Were they in somewhere else, that outside, and they came into his mind? Where were they? Abhishek? I thought you put your hand on, that's why I called you.
No.
All right. No. Where did they come from with them?
Did they come from the Dhamma? Like in the depths of the Dhamma?
But at the time, we didn't have Dhamma, did we? Buddha was not born at that time.
So there was no Buddha.
Yeah.
So the Buddha cycle never started. Okay.
Where were they? Can anyone guess?
Oh, no. Wait a minute. I need.
So after meditating deeply, he achieved this psychic powers and 8 dhyanas. Where were these powers? Where were they? Sankhya.
But the Sarpaka attained these supreme enlightenments by getting these powers, by attaining these supreme enlightenments.
The question is, where were these powers?
He said that when he attained those things, he got the powers.
Right. So where were they? Where were they initially? Initially, where were they? They have to be somewhere for him to achieve it. Yes, method.
In his body?
Yeah, within him.
Wait, what?
It is not only him.
Like literally?
Everyone has that energy. Everyone has those powers within them. Every human has those powers within them. It is just a matter of taking them out. How do you take them out? Meditating is one of the activities, one of the practices you can do to gain these powers. Our Hamduru, Upananda Hamduru said that it is called Vibhava Shakti. It's hidden in every human body, human mind. It needs to be taken out by practicing meditation. So he asked his wife, I will make you proud, but I need to go to the woods in order to meditate. Not to take those powers from anyone else, but to find within him. And this is a very important lesson that you all have to learn. And those powers are within you. You've got to believe in it and try to take them out from you. Is that clear? Yes.
Yes.
So that's why we are doing everyday meditation. And Padma teacher today as well. Happy to guide you. Practice some meditation.
Thank you. Thank you, Classical. Okay. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. Anne is here today. It is very difficult us to catch her. So therefore, she is a very good supportive devotee and very excellent meditation practitioner as well. So I'll pass on to her today to learn something from her for you all. Yeah? Okay? Agree?
Yes, I agree.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay, pass. Thank you. Thank you, Anne. Over to you.
Good evening, everybody. Very happy to lead a meditation practice. Can you all hear me all right?
Can
Can you hear me? Good.
Yes.
Good. I thought what a wonderful introduction to be reminded that we have that Buddha nature within us, the powers within us, and to be reminded of like meditation is like a bath for the mind where we can wash it, clean it, and let those hindrances that were in the Dhamma talk, those things that are obstacles to our mind, get shed. So let's have that motivation in clearly in our hearts and in our minds and in our bodies as we sit quietly to meditate together. So you all in your meditation posture in some way. I usually sit cross-legged on the floor, but do whatever you usually do that feels right for you tonight. It's said when you meditate that to attain mastery, preparation is as important as when you enter the meditation. So just prepare yourself for a moment. Allow your body to feel settled. Enjoy the peacefulness of this evening and the joy of the chanting and the Dhamma talks and all that you've learnt through your week of reflecting on these verses, and that realization in you that that peace is right within your very heart your very mind, your very body. And as you allow that peace in your body to establish, you can feel the body coming still. And you can be aware of the body's, the gentle movement in the body from your breath. You might be aware of your chest rising and falling. Be aware of your belly, your stomach rising and falling too. Maybe being aware of the whole body experiencing that breath with your breathing in or breathing out. So just as the wave will settle, will arrive on the shore and withdraw, so your breath, you breathe in the beauty of the world, of the air, of being alive. And you breathe out. There's always a moment of stillness between breathing in, a pause, and then breathing out. And allow that sense of soothing, the soothing nature of that breath to soothe you. Be aware when you're breathing in, without forcing it, just lightly. Your body knows what to do. It's been breathing all its life. You can be sure of that. Let your body breathe in and breathe out. And see if you can gently let yourself be aware, be fully mindful, just of this process that's going on of being alive, of breathing. And just notice if you find yourself forcing it or being irritated by the mind wandering, just smile at yourself. And let the breath do its work, that it knows what to do. Rising and falling. Breathing in. Breathing out. Maybe the breath is long, or maybe the breath is short. Gently be aware. When you're breathing in, and know when you're breathing out. And allow that sense of peacefulness, happiness. All is well. That joy of how well he spoke. Stillness of the evening. Just let that settledness, that samadhi, just stay with you. Allow the simplicity of just this simple motion, breathing in and breathing out to bring you that contentment. Let's just do it quietly and just stay with each other, an awareness of each other and ourselves as we do it for a few minutes before I give any other instruction. Breathing in, stilling the body. Breathing out, stilling the body. Like the sun as it rises in the sky, let the warmth of your breath fill you with joy. Breath that means we're alive. The air that connects us with all other beings. Feel the breath filling your whole body. And leaving. Right up to the tip of the head. Right down through the back, through the knees, to the contact with the floor. And now gently say the words, just quietly in your minds. Good as you breathe in, and ho as you breathe out. Good. Good. And have that sense of the joy of the Buddha's life. How it shed light. Allow your breath to feel light. Maybe even imagine you're breathing in light so that the light fills your body. And the in breath and the out breath. Quietly acknowledge that power is within you. Just let that breath silently breathe you. Breathing in and breathing out. And now choose another few minutes just quietly together. You might want to do the lights. You might want to use Buddha. You might just want to let the breath soothe you. That simplicity. Keep that lightness in your heart, that faith in your heart. Breathing in, breathing out. And if you feel you're forcing it a little bit, just relax. Letting our shoulders soften, or back feel strong and upright. Gentleness in your hands. And allow that quality of gentleness and simplicity to take hold again. Breathing in, knowing when you breathe out. We'll just do about 2 more minutes like this, maybe 10 breaths or so. When the mind wanders, bring back to that good feeling in your heart. Just return to the breathing in, soothing nature of the breath, the brightness of your mind. A gentle movement in your body, the rise and fall. Right up to the tip of the head and beyond. Now let's gently go the heart area, being aware of the rest of the body, but gently centering the heart area. And have gratitude, allow that joy with the gratitude of this coming together on this Saturday evening, on the new moon, and all the work you've done during the week, and all the care you've taken to bring that peace into your own lives. And that gratitude, the teacher, the monks who've taught you today, and your teacher, and your parents and the parents before them. That tradition that goes back so many years. Those teachers of the Dhamma, those parents. And now maybe one day you will be parents, and maybe one day you will teach the Dhamma. In this moment in time, make that wish in your heart. May I be happy. May I feel peaceful. May I feel good enough. May I be free of conceit, but also free of happiness in my own worth. And may all other beings be well and happy and free from suffering, free from disturbance of the mind, free from hate. And may I gradually make that strong intention for all those 33 misdeeds that get in the way of that happiness and those powers, that peace. Make that intention to turn away from them. And know that anytime I can go back to the breath and know how to still my mind and the body and recollect tonight and all the Dhamma teachings that you've been made aware of. And then bring your attention back to your hands, to the contact with the floor, to the other people in your room, the other people in the Zoom meeting, as you open your eyes. And finish the practice.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you so much for your wonderful meditation. We will be very grateful to you. Whenever you are free, please join us as before.
I will.
Yes, thank you. I will pass on to Rasika now. Thank you, Rasika. I don't think you all miss me, Anton.
Thank you so much. And may these blessings bring you good health and happiness too. Children, let us wish good health and happiness by saying 3 times solid. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Right, good. How did you find the meditation today? Nicholas.
I liked it. It was good and it made me calm and relaxed. And I had no stress, so it cleaned out all my stress and worries. Yeah.
Good. Good.
I felt so calm, but it felt like a deep meditation to me. It was like a wave of calmness. It felt like that. Like something was like a sort of presence that I can't actually see, but it felt so good. Like happiness, basically, and calmness at the same time. It didn't work together that much, but that's what it felt like.
And did you hear that? Good.
I did. I think when I teach you when I lead a meditation, I just have to key in to what is already present. You know, so much groundwork from the attention you give to the chanting and the Dhamma presentations. You know, so you might find it not so easy if you were rushing back from school and fitting it in between homework, but you've really set something up, all of you. I can feel that in this reading. So yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, we all did. Thank you very much again. Triple bless you. Alhamdulillah, that's all from me as well. I would very kindly pass it back to you.
Thank you very much, Rasikaya. Thank you very much, Padmanona. And also our Anne for being here and sponsoring today's program, and also offering Dhamma Dana, guiding few minutes of meditation. And it is a great blessing. Today you are transferring merits to your loving husband to mark the 5th anniversary of merit transfer, and also your loving parents, and of course your good friend and the Dhamma teacher. And also you would sharing your blessings for your grandson, and to your friend and the stepfather, and also to myself and my parents. And I think it has been a very fulfilling day, very resourceful day, very meritorious day. And I'm very pleased that our children get the opportunity to share the experience of the type of meditations, the knowledge, the teachings that they are not really learning from the textbooks and some other places. So the children who are taking part in this evening, in addition to the Dhamma learning, particularly the meditation, they will really benefit, because that every aspect, the education, exams, other things are quite stressful. So when you are participating to these things, you would make the most of those opportunities. Opportunities does not come always. When you get that, you need to get the best out of that opportunity. Therefore, when you are, as our Anne guided the meditation, how one can identify certain characteristics of mind, how we can apply certain skillful things in mind. That was what this story about the Matanga. He was born into a lower class and he became very popular. Even in the modern world, someone in India written the constitution after being independent. Nobody was able to write the constitution, but this gentleman, called as outclass, but he was very qualified person in law, educated in Britain, in the United Kingdom, called Babasaheb Ambedkar. And he was the only qualified person to write the constitution for a massive, very diverse country. And he wrote the constitution for such a big country based on Buddhist principles. And he did say that he is the one who put the Buddhist symbols like Dhamma wheel, the Asoka pillar, to the flag of the Buddhist Indian flag. And even in the notes and everywhere, in a very orthodox in a way with the Hinduism, but they were very thoughtful and respectful for this gentleman and adopted his all suggestions. And therefore, what I just wanted to say, when you develop in your skills, in your qualifications, you become a worthy person, you become a respectful person. Nobody can kind of abandon you. So therefore, Buddha has given that example from his own life. that through developing, cultivating, your sky will be the limit of your progress. The Buddha said very clearly, anybody can become a Buddha. It's not only for chosen person or particular person. So therefore be courageous in your understanding. The where you really wanted to look after is your mind. In our mind, there are lots of attitudes, lot of emotions, lot of feelings, lot of desires, lot of characteristics, which would hinder your progress and development. When you adopt a good meditation, you would be able to develop the mind. And when, as I mentioned in the jhanas called deep states of meditation mind, you would realize a lot of joy, lot of happiness, lot of memory, lot of skills, lot of creativity, and your life becomes quite easy. So you are lucky to have the presence and the support of all the good teachers here, and I sincerely appreciate their effort and time. They have a lot of things to do, but they still keep the whole day in the program to support you all. And we are very grateful to Rasikaya, Padmanona, and also Anne, and our Hamudru, and everyone. They have even to keep that every Saturday is very challenging, but we very happily make that effort. Even I know Rasikaya Padmanona has so many other things to do, but they make. We are need to be grateful. I am very happy that and apply those in the meditation and share the gratitude. This is a very important thing. You need to be really grateful for their effort, their energy, and for their heartful contributions. So we are very, very grateful. So hope children, you take that very heartfully. If you do that, that is a very, very living blessing, the gratitude for someone who tried to support you in many ways. And we are very lucky for that, So therefore, we are very happy today. It's been nearly 7 minutes to 9. As Anne said that it's been a long day, but you have been here staying now nearly 3 hours. Very, very energetically, very, very enthusiastically. And I was so impressed how you were reciting the certain gathas and how you were explaining those, and you learning by engaging very well. So I'm very happy and very proud of yourself, and make the most of this opportunity. You will be very busy in few years' time. You may have some other things to do, but when you are here at this time, at this age, get the best out of this experience and make the most of your life, especially with regard to the characteristics of mind. Sometimes very negative characteristics can come, kind of agitation, frigidity, dislikeness. That is not you. That is the characteristics of mind eventually make you destroy, like the rust origins in the metal, destroy the metal itself. The things that arise in your own mind can ruin your life. Therefore, be mindful, look after your mind, and always apply the loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and overcome your anger. All the 33 characteristics mentioned in the Vasala Sutta, this discourse on outcast. Would that be a great blessing for the life? Thank you very much. I am so happy and grateful for coming to this evening and making the effort to be here. And may you all be well, happy, and peaceful. Sadhu. 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 say one by one, and you can stay till others are leaving, then other rush in. Say your gratitude and blessings to close the day. Sunet and Sarah can start it.
Teruwan sarana hamdrone Padmati and Rasika Mama.
Chanudi?
Thank you, Mama, Padmanti, and Anne.
Seth?
Teruwan sarana hamdrone Padmanti Rasika Mama and Ananti.
Sanket?
Teranang Saranai Hamdrine Padmanti and Widunstad and Ananti.
Thank you. Vidun and Vidunya?
Teruwan Saranai Hamdrone, Teruwan Saranai Padmananti, Teruwan Saranai Tata, and Teruwan Saranai Anne.
Teruwan Saranai Hamdrone, Teruwan Saranai Padmananti, Teruwan Saranai Tata, and Teruwan Saranai Anne.
Asindu and Avishi?
Say Auntie Anne, yeah?
Teruwan Saranai Hamudre, Raskavame, Padmanti, and Auntie Anne.
Methul and Meheli.
Saranai Hamdrone, Rasika Mama, Padma Auntie, and Auntie Anne.
Sanket?
Teranang Saranai Hamdrine, Teranang Saranai Ananti, Teranang Saranai Widunstad, and Teranang Saranai Padmanti.
You said it before as well, sorry. Yeah. So thank you and have a good week and have a good bank holiday Monday, I hope. And have a good rest. Start making a Vesak lantern, okay?
Yeah, it is.
I don't know how to say it in your, I don't know how that phrase is, Saranang, but whatever it is, thank you very much. And
Teruwan,
to
Teruwan Saranai.
Terawan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is it Sinhalese or Pali?
it's Sinhalese.
All right, Terawan,
Saranai.
Saranai,
Yeah.
Bhante.
Triple gem bless you.
Right, the triple. Saranang, get that's like a Pali with Saranang. Teranai, Saranang, and then you say Venerable Samitha, Venerable Dhammapiyananda, Vidunjaya Wadana, Dane, and Padma. Yeah.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you for sponsoring the day.
Thank you for the chanting. I said those two people who had been not well,
Yeah.
they are both, what my stepfather thought he would die in hospital. He's now back in his own flat again. And my friend's a very close friend, so far the cancer isn't there at the last scan. So we have to
I'm
see,
very
but
happy to hear that.
and she was very ill. Yeah. So very appreciative. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I'm
And
glad
the
to
blessings
hear.
of my grandson too. And sorry.
That's beautiful. Very good. I'm glad to hear Francis and Ted is better, getting better.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Anne.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Teruwan Saranai Hamdrone.
Teruwan Saranai Raskaye.
Teruwan Saranai Padma
Therwan Saranai Rasika, Therwan Saranai, see you soon. Eh? Therwan Saranai, and we'll see soon.